Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, man, I hear you.
oh man, that was. I'm not gonna lie, that was the biggest bombshell I heard in a long time on Raw, with
Oh, what
Becky
back?
being pregnant. I'm like,
I
whoa.
think.
I hate Seth now. Yeah, all the baggage he brings from all the issues he had in the past. Man,
Yeah.
that's just crazy. That whole Money in the Bank, I always envisioned that happening one day. It just didn't look right when they actually did it.
Right.
I thought it'd be like,
True.
I thought it would be like, guys, we're going to move into new headquarters. Just break everything that you want to, but they didn't. And everybody's like, Vince was in his office. It's like, why is he in his office? Oh my
It
god.
looked like a video game. Like he was just a video game character that's like in the background when you fight through the entire set. That's what it felt like to me.
And it was like, it when they said it, it was like there's gonna be both men and women going at the same time. Like, that's good, but this is the WWE. It's gonna get messed up somehow. But it didn't. It actually turned out pretty well. It's,
Yeah, I thought there was going to be more interaction between the men and women. They didn't really like when it going on at the same time. I thought they were like interact with each other, but they really didn't. It was kind of limited. Like they didn't really do
yeah.
anything together
I
other
know.
than food fight
Yeah, and I know there was
and the
once.
ending.
Yeah, Oscar, I think, slapped Baron Corbin or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, on the ladder. But that
but
was
that was
just weird.
all
Oh,
right. Well, ready to do this?
yes, sir. Um,
I don't,
what do you think of Money in the Bank? Because I saw it. There was some good spots and there was some bad spots I didn't like about it. Most of the
yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah,
most
it
of
was
the
like okay.
yeah, most of the card was good. It's just certain things they was doing didn't really interest me. It was like
Yeah,
it's just stupid. Half some of it was, especially that ending with you know who getting the bank for the guys.
yeah. Like I still by rules, I feel like AJ he had it in his possession. I mean, it's not a football. He didn't have to firmly hold it. As far as I'm concerned, AJ should have won. And I thought we would get a follow up with that, but we really didn't. AJ didn't. They didn't. AJ didn't say nothing about it.
Yeah, and it was like even he said before going on the match that he shouldn't be rushed back so early, but there's
Hmm.
something you can do. It's like AJ, this is the WWE. Logic does not work here, man. But
No, no, it does not.
going down that card, I Cesaro and Jeff Hardy shouldn't be facing each other because they both should be getting at least some wins during this time in WWE because they both are mainstream talent. It's just Cesaro is still getting looked down upon because he stood up for himself against WWE, which is kind of stupid for them to do that to him.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. Oh, I agree with that. One thing if there was like a storyline or something like that, but they just stuck them together out of nowhere for nothing, and I was like, oh, okay, what was the point of this?
yeah, then they had
Uh,
the New Day. Man, there's the what was this Marvel fatigue. I'm having that right now with the New Day. How many
yeah,
times you gonna put the belts on these guys?
I feel that too. And plus, I mean, but the bigger issue for me is that Kofi was the world champion last year, and now they act like it never happened. And not for nothing, but I've been waiting for Big E to get that belt. Like Kofi recently said that Big E he believes will be champion one day, and I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it because I've been thinking Big E was overdue for a long time. I mean, I remember
Exactly.
him in NXT. He was the second NXT champion, but then he came into the main roster and he had that goofy voice when they started. For those people who remember, and that was disastrous. I was very upset about that. I'm glad to see that one away, but still, like Big E is a main event player, and I think more so than Kofi. As much as Kofi Mania was great, I think Big E was way more suited for the main event push than Kofi was.
I think Biggie ideal. The best time was to make him champion was when what was that? I think Ziggler went against Berto when he cashed in. That would be the perfect time for Big E to come in, attack Ziggler after he get the belt and say, "I'm the number one contender," to set that up,
Oh,
which would be perfect for him.
oh, absolutely. Very true. Yeah, it would have been a perfect way to turn them. Then you have a built-in feud because they were partnered up. AJ Lee was also there. They could have done something with her and stuck being caught in the middle. Yeah, it was a perfect timing for that. But they messed up the Dolph Championship run on top of that.
Yeah,
Although when Dolph got injured, instead of giving the belt right back, they could have just done Big E thing, taken Dolph out of the equation and had Big E just taken it from him since Dolph got hurt. They could have just wrapped it up that way. It would have been a lot smoother and easier.
yeah, it would be like, I'm sorry, Dolph. I just got in heat in the moment. Let's just play this off. So have like a slow burn to a big payoff, not just have him there to do something. But it's the
Right.
WWE.
Yeah, yeah. That's how it always goes. WWE. Why? Because WWE.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley going against R Truth. That was all right. It wasn't nothing spectacular. R Truth, he's far away from the days of being what was it, NWA champion in TNA to just being a goofball now.
Yeah, yeah. And on Monday, it got even worse. I do not like this character that he's doing on Monday. That was,
Yeah,
yeah. When you put it that way, he was the NWA champion, and now again, you would never ever know that he was one of those guys. And it's so sad when you think about it. And I mean, he is funny. Like he is hysterical. I do think he's very funny, and he could make a lot of bad storylines good somehow. Even things that you don't think will work, somehow he manages to get to work. Like when he said he wants to go after Tom Brady, that was hysterical. But, like that got me. Like there are things he does that makes me laugh, but still, I still wish there was I still wish I still wish this character they have him doing on Monday didn't happen.
yeah. It was just. I know he's friends with Vince, but at the same time, you have to do something different other than being just a silly comedy character, because you might need him being the main event at one point, and you can't just have him be comedy.
And not only that, I mean, he's a big guy. Like he's in great shape, but he's also up there in years. He's been wrestling for a while. So if they don't do something with him soon, it's like they're probably, even though he looks like he's in fantastic shape, sooner or later, he's gonna have to retire. And I'm not sure that they're gonna do anything with him before that retirement day comes.
Yeah, and he been wrestling since March 15, 1997.
I know, right? He's one of the few guys who wrestled in both WWE and WWF.
And went to TNA, come back, and still a big name. But man, yeah, I miss his old character, K Quick, man. That was a lot better than what he's doing now.
See,
That's
I actually like Ron Truth Killings. I thought that was I like that character. That was my favorite character that he's played.
yeah, I think
Ron
that's
Killings.
yeah. Was it which one in TNA or in WWE?
TNA.
Oh yeah, he was much better in there because he was actually being himself and do other stuff and not just be a gimmick or something like that. He was just being himself, really.
Speaking of which, of people that look like they're going to be better in TNA or better in TNA that WWE might be doing right now, it seems like Bobby Lashley and MVP, they might be sticking them back together. And I think Bobby Lashley was way better in TNA,
Yeah, he
especially when he was
was.
with MVP, especially when he was MVP, because MVP I think knew how to get the best out of Bobby.
Yeah. And he was his mouthpiece and he did all the work for him on the mic. Bobby just got in the ring and wrestled. And people were like, oh, this is the beatdown clan. It's like, no, no, no. The beatdown clan consists of MVP, Lashley, Low Key, Small Joe, Homicide, and Hernandez, I think. About 6, 7
Well,
guys, yeah.
I mean, here's my thing. I'll say that Lana is a good mouthpiece, but she's got a one note tune. Like she is capable of doing it, but it's not for Lashley. Like she's good at doing when she was with Rusev and they were doing the anti-America thing. That's when she's real. I think that's when she's good at being a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
But they partner up with Bobby, it doesn't work because she can't do the one thing she's good at. I mean, if she can be good at something else, I have yet, I'm sure she can, but I just have yet to see it. But as of like from what I see, it's she hasn't done anything for Bobby. Just being with him, like has she where's anything what's he benefited from? So far I haven't seen it.
Yeah, me either. And she's nice and all to have in the company, but yeah, like you said, she's one piece. Once Rusev is gone, what is she good for, really? She's just
Yeah.
there. And
And
it's
it's like,
just,
maybe she can be. I'm a fan of hers. I just want to see. I just want to see. I just
yeah,
need the proof. I get the proof, then that's a different story.
yeah, but there's nothing we can do right now because her husband's now becoming a Twitch streamer now, but she's still with the company. Yeah, he's like, I just bought all these parts for a computer. I'm gonna build my own computer and be a Twitch streamer. So it goes from wrestling to just playing video games.
And that's the story, man. A lot of these guys are saying that, after this, they're kind of done with wrestling or whatever. And
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's true or if it's permanent or
I,
if it's just a sign of the times going on
yeah,
and they're just feeling a certain, way about business. But I hope not. Like Rusev's a guy I kind of hope comes back some way because I think he's a good talent. I think they
yeah.
could use him some way,
I think he's
somewhere,
just
somehow.
burnt out from wrestling and everything. All the contracts, negotiations, all the stuff he's been pitching, they're not doing. I think he's just probably gonna take at least a year or two off before getting back into the ring.
I mean, the benefit is he's still got a wife who's collecting that WWE money, so
Yep,
at least he's got some steady income.
exactly. The next one, Bailey defeats Tamina. Oh, come on, please. That should have been on SmackDown. We all know all the women can beat Tamina. I mean,
That might as well have been on something like Heat. Forget about SmackDown.
oh, yeah.
They could have put that on Wrestling Challenge. I mean, like Tamina has never been viewed as a threat or intimidating. They've done nothing with her the entire time she's been there. So,
Well, she was a threat
uh,
one time with the Usos, but other than that, no.
all right, yeah, no, that's fair. She did have that one time with the Usos. And it's like the thing is, she could be because she is big. Like
Yeah.
it's not like she can't be scary. They just choose not to do anything to make you concerned about her or view her as a threat. And I don't know why. They seem to treat Maya Jax with like a lot of that stuff, but they never given any of that to Tamina, and they easily could have.
Yeah, and she's more, I think she's closer to the family than Nia Jax is, because I know they're both related to The Rock, but Tamina been wrestling a little bit longer than Jax, but I don't know why Jax is getting all the love compared to Tamina, who's just pretty much collecting a paycheck at this point.
Yep. I wish I knew myself. I
Mm,
wish I knew because I mean, a part of me thinks that maybe the controversy with her dad is why they kind of like
yeah.
they start and stop and they don't know what they want to do. Like maybe that's why, but who knows?
She's getting injured too. It's like, at least use her for something. Don't just have her sit in the catering room like you do most of the talent. She has talent. She's from a wrestling family that has loads of talent. Do something with her. Put her with Nia Jax. Make them a tag team already or something.
Mm. Yeah, that is a positive. That they could have done, but why aren't they competing for the tag belts?
Yeah, it's just they did one point, but at that time they didn't do anything with them.
Mm.
Oh, whoa! How did they get here? Braun Strowman defeats Bray Wyatt. Yeah, that is a shit show match.
This is an interesting roundabout way to get to where they want to get to, because like the thing now, I feel that after what they did at WrestleMania, they're always going. Bray is always going to be a character that people are going to want to see a lot of storyline to, a lot of like plot and character work. And so now I think they kind of have to like they have to give something like this for Bray in every single match he's in going forward. Unfortunately, though, I think Braun, after whatever happens with Bray, I don't know where he's going to go next. Like who's the obvious person for him to compete against? Or like Drew. I mean, I know we haven't gotten to that yet,
Yeah,
but with Drew, like I think there's a good match with Jinder Mahal. They were in 3MB. He was a
yeah,
former WWE champ. You can make that feud easy. But now on SmackDown, who's left? Who's like the heels for the title that Braun could go against? Like, there's really nobody after Bray. Who's left? Like, really?
No, that's what happens when you put the titles on Braun or Brock. It's pretty much once you get to there, where you go from there. At least with Bray, you know he got mind games. You know, if you have like AJ, you can get the best matches. With Drew, you know he's gonna come at you with all he has. With Braun, he's just one note. He's not that agile like everybody else. But for what I
That's,
feel, go ahead.
I was just saying, now see, I like Braun. And I think the problem is a lot of the guys that could have been good contenders for Braun right now are either not being used or gone or hurt or whatever. Like if Samoa Joe was treated like the monster that he was in TNA and Ring of Honor, Samoa Joe and, Braun could have had a great feud. Rusev, if he was still with the company and if they still used him, Rusev and Braun could have been a great feud. Like there are guys there like I mean, this ship has long sailed, but like Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, these guys, if they treated them right, these are big dudes. They can go and they can be scary. They could have utilized Luke Harper or Eric Rowan as people that Braun would be able to run through. So that's like easily five guys you could have had him match up with. And with the case of Eric Rowan and Luke Harper, just like Bray Wyatt, there's a storyline there. And if they had done like Eric Rowan first and then Luke Harper and build up,
Yeah,
then everyone's going to
exactly.
be anticipating Bray. But instead, they just led with Bray because they got nobody else.
And this is for me right now. This is the perfect time for Bray because they can do all the editing and stuff like that. Once the crowd come back, there's none of that. You have to do it live, and I don't think they're ready for that because with Bray, he has both versions of himself, but you have like split seconds or whatever editing to make it look like, oh, he's here or he's there, and at the certain point you're gonna have to have Bray add to his mystique and not just do the same things over and over and over. Like with Braun, we all know he's the muscle guy, but he did a little dancing, which hurts credibility. But at the same time, he has some humor in him and that strength.
Mm. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, very true, very true. But you bring up a good point, and a good question. What's next for Braun? But what about what's next for Bray? Because what else is he gonna do now? He's kind
yeah,
of went through his entire checklist of people he's had beef with in the past. So what else are they going to do with them? Especially since, like you said, they don't have a lot of time left. I mean, hopefully they don't have a lot of time left. Hopefully this stuff ends pretty soon, but they don't have a lot of time left until they get the crowd back in, and so they should be utilizing the editing ability. But again, with who? Like they kind of ran out of people for him to play with.
yeah. From what I'm hearing, all these other reports going on that what was it, Fox and USA, they're thinking about bringing back the wild card rule, or they're calling it the invitation, whatever. I'm like, this is going to be just as bad as the first one, and it'll open up possibility for new matchups at the same time. If you don't make it be like Cena versus Orton every week, because
Yeah,
that's deadly to mess up the ratings right there.
yeah. I never need to see those two go at it again. I mean, I'll look at it this way. I mean, personally, I've never been the biggest fan of the brand split. I think if you follow old school rules, you don't need one. But if you're gonna do it and you want to undo it right now just because of the current situation, because you have a limited roster, okay, I'll understand that. But I think the key to making it work, if you have to make it work, is that you gotta stick and commit to it. And WWE is never really committed to this brand split. And so if they're going to keep breaking it, why bother having it? Like, what's the point if you're just going to keep changing your mind and taking it back every other month, it seems, or every
Exactly.
couple of months.
Yeah, and it's like everybody else is doing it so simple. New Japan has everybody on one card. AEW has
Mm,
Dark Show and they have Dynamite. Impact have everybody under one
right.
umbrella. It's like with the WWE, they have enough talent to have everybody on one show. It's just they have too much people on the roster that you have to spread it out, and even then, they're terrible at booking half the time.
Yeah. They have this weird mentality that they gotta stick. They have this mentality that they have big stars that have to be on every show. It's like people say the brand split helps push more talent, but they have this weird mentality that, like, let's say you got Roman Reigns, he's not around right now, but if he was around, they have this mentality, oh, he's got to be on Raw and SmackDown. It's like, no, you didn't have to brand split it. You could just have him on Raw, but then not on SmackDown, and then next week have him on SmackDown, on Raw. You don't, and then maybe down the line, yeah, have them both shows. But they feel the need to take the same people and always put them in the same positions on both Raw and SmackDown when there's no brand split, instead of just letting things be what they are. Like NXT doesn't always have the same people on every show. There are some episodes go by, you don't see so and so, and it's not the end of the world. It's okay. They can take a break, and that's way, how can we miss you if you don't go away, kind of thing. And
Yeah,
that's what WWE forgot.
yeah, like with the AJ thing, he was supposed to be buried for what, weeks or months. Nope, he's back on Raw. No explanation how he got out of the grave. There's like in the old days when we used to watch wrestling, you always see the guys come out after a pay per view all bandaged up. It's like, dude, look at you. You're hurt. Just stay backstage. You don't have to wrestle tonight.
I mean, I look at it that those days are over. Remember, this is the same WWE where it wasn't that long ago where Braun Strowman got crushed in a garbage truck and then just showed up in the same garbage truck, which somehow changed color, but it was supposed to be the same truck. And then he just came out of it and he was perfectly fine, like the Shredder and Ninja Turtles. So like after that, all bets are off. Like now, nothing means anything anymore. So
And
we're talking about the AJ thing. I'm like, hey, his hand was sticking out, and Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson were right there. As far as I'm concerned, that makes way more sense than Braun kicking out of a garbage truck. So forget it now. Now I don't even care.
man, for me, I was like, man, that's just that match, right? That Boneyard match was pretty much like a burial for the Good Brothers. Like, screw AJ, he's safe on the dirt. The Good Brothers, they got kicked out. No,
I mean, it's
bah.
weird to think Undertaker allegedly maybe retiring and all that.
Yeah.
That's weird to think that out of everyone in that match, AJ, who was buried, is the only guy who's going to keep going after it.
Man, that's just weird, man, for me. Yeah, AJ's the only one. He's now he's like, I feel bad for letting the guys go. It's like, AJ, this is the WWE. Common sense does not work here. If you're in a tag team, you're not gonna be in a tag team long. If you're
Nope.
brothers, you're gonna feud at one point or another. I'm just proud the Good Day. I'm not the Good Day. The New Day haven't fought each other just yet.
And I'm personally happy about that. I know some people want them to split up or one of them go heel. Not me. I hope they stay together forever. And especially with the Kofi thing last year, we saw that you can have one of them become a solo star, a single star,
Yeah,
a WWE champion, and it doesn't break up the team dynamic. They can still support each other. I mean, the only thing I'm worried about is, my man Xavier Woods, because, it seems like he's pretty badly hurt right now.
yeah. He
And,
hasn't been on TV in a long time.
yeah, and it's like bad. Like, same thing with like Samoa Joe. It's like he heals up and then he gets hurt again. And it's like, oh man. It's like Woods didn't wrestle all that much for him anyway. It was mostly Biggie and Kofi anyway, but still now it's like, man, it's getting rough. Like he's
Yeah,
he's really, really seldomly ever in the ring.
it's the WWE schedule they're going through. They have to do live shows and they have to do night shows, travel, go overseas. It's like, man, that's putting a strain on their bodies. That's why I said many times before, if you're working for Impact, you're only working for like maybe 3, 5 weeks, whatever, and then you can work wherever you want. New Japan, like every like a month or so. But WWE's like you always on the road and your body never had time to heal. So when you go out there and you make one mistake, oh, I broke something. Which is what Samoa Joe's going through. Because all the times he was with Impact, Hardy got hurt. Jeff Hardy, he only got hurt. He only been out of action in Impact like one time because he broke his leg, motocrossing or whatever of all things. And WWE, he's always hurt now. It's like there's something going on with their schedule that's causing these guys to be too tired to actually heal up and get ready for the next matchup.
Yes, yes. I mean, like you said, these big guys and the traveling. Like Undertaker has said, like one of the things, if I'm remembering correctly, he said in an interview one of the things he wished he did earlier in his career is get because he has a butt. for traveling, all that. But when he was
Yeah,
younger, he wanted to save the money and he would drive around. But for a big guy like that, being crammed in the car after getting beat up on all that, it takes a toll on your body. He says if he could do it all over again, he would actually have gotten a bigger bus to travel so he could stretch out a lot more. He would have done that way earlier in his career instead of worrying about trying to save up money. He would have just splurged and said, do it as soon as he possibly could have because it would have saved his back and it would have saved his knees and, he would have been in much better shape now.
exactly. Especially when he does the old school, that takes a toll on his knees as well. You jumping
Yeah.
from that height, then you have to feel all that pain goes up your legs. That's a killer right there. From I'm surprised he never collapsed to the mat because of that. Because how high
Mm.
he's up there and coming down.
And people kind of don't remember that dude is 300 pounds. That's a lot of weight coming down on that. He's tall, so he
Exactly.
kind of looks more evenly dispersed, but still, that's not easy on you.
Yeah, exactly. That's why Kane hardly goes to the top rope anymore. He just stays in the ring. Because I used to know Kane's moveset from the beginning. Throw somebody in the corner, hit him with the clothesline, take with the sidewalk slam, climb to top rope, the flying clothesline, and he ended with either a choke slam or a tombstone.
Hmm.
Not all in that order, but that's how I remember it. Like Undertaker's his used to be like the snake eyes, big boot, old school, all that stuff. Now they're getting up there in age, they hardly use that move set because far the time and they didn't take care of their body when they was younger.
Exactly.
And then whew, I'm I'm finally happy with Drew Galway. Finally, not Drew McIntyre. Sorry, I don't want to get the WWE fans mad, but yeah, I'm finally happy he got the title because at the beginning of his run, like back when he first started, I was like, this guy ain't nothing. Then I realized he's like 6'8". It was like 6'8". That dude looks short on the TV. He should have had that title a long time ago, but he was married to Taryn Terrell and all that issues. He did like a stint with Insane Championship Wrestling, went to Impact, then he went back to WWE. So I'm kind of happy he found his way, finally found his way in the champion that he desired to be.
Mm. Yeah, see, and I mean, he's cool as a babyface, but I will say I missed the when he was doing the Scottish psychopath thing when he was like yelling and screaming at his opponents in the ring in the match and everything like that. I thought that was cool. I actually missed that. I missed him doing that. I wish he was doing that again.
Me too. And it was like I wanted him to have a mixture of that and his first run in WWE. Like I was chosen to hold this title and just badmouth his opponent while he's doing it,
Yeah,
while fighting him, something like that.
yeah. He's like deceptively better on the microphone than a lot of people realize. And while he's not bad as a babyface on the microphone, he is better as a heel on the microphone. He's better when he's getting arrogant and mean. I think.
Yeah, I just love how he used to be with all the slyness and stuff he was doing. There was a good look for him after like taking down Seth Rollins, who I really don't want to see him in the title picture anymore. But that was a good match though for the championship.
And speaking of Seth, I think it's weird that with the Becky announcement, and they're not really talking about Seth. I was like, weird. Like Becky goes in the back and gets congratulated by everybody, and it's like, why isn't Seth back there? I was like, how come no one's congratulating Seth?
Exactly, and then he went and attack Rey Mysterio, who I'm having mixed feelings for right now because he was like, he said something like a few weeks ago that if I had to lose my mask in WWE, I'll do it in an instant. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, you represent a whole bunch of luchadors who are told, number one, your mask is like your face. You do not lose
Right.
it and you respect it. And he's like, I'll lose it to anybody. It's like, no, Ray, that's not how the rules go in Lucha Libre. I don't care if it's WWE, Lucha Libre, that's sacred. You lose your mask, it has to be important. Not just, here you go, I'm taking off my mask.
Yeah, and plus he's like so close to the end of his career. He's, like it's
Yeah,
time to wrap up for sure. Just go out on a high note.
yeah,
Don't ruin it. Just stick the landing.
yeah.
There's no reason for you to start screwing up towards the end.
Yeah, and the bad thing is, I just heard like this week he resigned for I guess another 3 years or something. His contract was supposed to be up in September, but he resigned. So it's like Ray, you have nothing else to do. Just retire, stay with the company, work backstage somewhere, and let your son get in some wrestling experience in the performance center. Stay off TV, Ray. You have nothing else to prove.
And it's weird. He's a lot younger. Well, he's still young, but you know who I feel that way about too? I also feel that way about Randy Orton. It's like I don't think there's much left for Orton to do, and it's like
There's nothing
I
for.
know, yeah, he's got plenty of career left, but I'm like, what? I still just have no, there's like nothing left for Orton. I can't think of anything else to go. Like after this Edge thing is wrapped up, which I think it should have already been wrapped up.
Yeah,
It's like, what do you do with Randy Orton next?
there is nothing for him to do. He has gone through almost everybody, and it's like, Randy, just take like a year off or something, man. Train, do something. You're really not needed in this current landscape because you almost beat everybody. Just relax or
Yeah,
something. Um,
yeah, true.
that decent match to the women's Money in the Bank match. I'm not gonna
So,
lie. I feel real bad. I picked Shayna to win that match, but Oscar's in there, so I was like, oh man, that hurts right there. But at the end, I was happy that Oscar won the match, but I was still sad for Shayna because she had that undefeated streak in NXT, and now she took Oscar's role. Now she's just a joke on the main roster.
yeah, just like Asuka, she was super dangerous in NXT, and then she gets to the main roster, and then nothing. And not only that, but she didn't really do anything in the Money in the Bank. Did you notice that? It's like she didn't have any major spots. She didn't have any time to shine. She just kind of was there.
Yeah, and that's
Like I feel like Nia Jax and Lacey Evans made up, and even Dana Brooke
oh god.
made their presence known better than Shayna. It's like Dana Brooke had the thing where she got the wrong briefcase. Nia Jax and Otis got to squash Rey Mysterio, which was embarrassing for Rey. You know, Lacey got the Lacey got to lay some had some spots too and everything like that. And Asuka, of
Yeah.
course, won, jumped off the balcony and everything. But what was Shayna's spot? What was Shayna's big deal that she did? Nothing really.
I think having Carmella and Dana Brooke in the match cheapened the match. I would rather see Asuka go against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler for the title because I'm sorry, but the other two, I'm just not into it.
My
Like Carmella,
biggest question is, where is Ember Moon? Is she hurt?
yeah, she's hurt.
Still?
Yeah, and I guess her and her husband has like a wrestling school. I think in Texas or Florida.
And what about Naomi? It was like
Naomi, she's back. It's just they haven't put her on TV. Yeah,
because
she
Dana
wasn't.
Dana Brooke again is another one where I think she could be somebody if they tried,
Yeah,
but they just shoved her into this match. It's not, it's too soon. They should have worked on her for a while and then put her up fine, because she's got muscles and she's
yeah.
very athletic. But they didn't build her up enough. But Naomi, on the other hand, has been built up. Naomi, has had that belt, so there'd be nothing wrong with putting Naomi in the match. But then there's also other characters. Now I know they came back. They
The
came back on Monday. But
Iconics.
yeah, I was gonna say, what
Yeah,
about like where have they been?
they just
There's
been
plenty
sitting
of
at
them,
home.
there's plenty of them they could have put in that match.
They just been sitting at home. That's from what I'm reading. They didn't had nothing to do. Just sitting at home. Or they could put somebody from NXT in that match. Who knows? Something.
Yeah,
They should have put like Sasha in that match.
yeah.
Cause
I mean,
right,
that's what everyone
yeah, go
figured
ahead.
was gonna happen, or even Mandy Rose.
Yeah, that I forgot all about Mandy and Sonya.
Well, because yeah, Mandy Rose has just been
Yeah,
playing, Otis's girlfriend. She hasn't really been doing all that much, but still, like,
it would.
there was
Yeah,
a whole list of people they could have put in there, and I
that
just
would
don't
have
get it.
been perfect though. Mandy and Otis in the Money in the Bank match. Both of them trying to help each other to get it.
Yeah,
Then
and
Dolph and Sonya come in and stop them.
see,
Exactly.
but that's exactly what, and that was my biggest thing about this pay per view. They said they were going to have the men's and women's match simultaneously. Okay, that led me to think there was going to be a lot more interaction between
Yeah.
them, and there was some, but just not a lot. Like I thought for sure at some point in time, Baron. Like I thought some of them more they were going to work together. Like you said, if they did Andy and Otis, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But Baron Corbin, Jesse Evans had say, "Hey, remember we're friends. Remember when we fought Seth and Beck?"
Yeah, something like that. I was actually thinking like Elias coming out of
You know,
nowhere. And I was thinking about Elias coming out of nowhere and hitting Corbin with a guitar or something.
yeah. So yeah, I didn't know why the men and the women didn't interact more than they did. They had very, very limited interactions. You know, I thought Nia was going to get into it with I thought she was at least going to get some an actual move in instead of them accidentally squashing Ray.
Yeah. Right there, that moment, I knew Ray fucked up by resigning. That would have been a
Yeah,
perfect meme. Just squish like, here's Rey Mysterio, squashed by two overweight people. Are you happy now, Ray? Well, oh man, But the way I'm happy for Oscar because at the end, can you really consider a cash in if the belt was already in the title in the case?
I do wonder about that. I do wonder about that myself. And my other issue with this is, if you think about it, we haven't had really a solid cash in, or at least a long wait for a cash in since Carmella, since the beginning.
Yeah.
Because uh, Alexa Bliss cashed in right away the same night. Bailey cashed it in the same night. Asuka never had to cash it in because she just got the title from it. So it's like, why? Like, belt has we haven't had one bank hold on to that briefcase for a good amount of time. It just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Uh, let's see. Yeah, for the women's, no, I know Baron Corbin. He's tried to cash in a few times, but he said some stuff, and Vince was like, "Nope, you're not getting that push," and he lost the briefcase. Um, Alberto, I think he like had it one or two times. No, he had it one time during the Summer of Punk, and that's how he got the title. Yeah, I think about only two or three times. Oh yeah, Mr. Kennedy, he lost his title to Edge, and that's about like three
Well,
guys who lost their title.
let's not forget Damien Sandow, who
Oh yeah, oh god, I forgot about him.
yeah,
I was that was a good match. It was just when they started throwing people off the side, I was like, wow. I was actually thinking as the Black turn off all the lights and coming back up to win the title because this whole gimmick and everything, but that was just a shitty finish to that man in the event. They fighting
right.
over the belt over to the case, and Otis just grabs it.
And as I said, AJ had it. As far as I'm concerned, AJ had that. That should have counted. AJ should have won. I don't care. Like, he had it. He took it down. Corbin let go. He had it. As far as I'm concerned, AJ's the winner, and I cannot believe they're not even bringing that up.
Mm, hopefully they bring it up this Friday, whatever. Because Otis, he was like, I'm cashing in for the title, which I'm like, congrats, Otis. Thank you. Because all the times we've seen it, it was for the heavyweight title. I want somebody to win like the
Right.
Intercontinental title, the U.S. title. It's like, why you don't go after the main title? Well, it's kind of, I want to play the mind games right now. I don't want to go up there right now. It's all packed because you don't want Braun after. You don't want Bray after. You don't want Drew or Seth after. You want to stay in the middle where you protect it or something.
Uh, I have a friend who actually thinks that what might happen is he might say he wants to cash in for the tag titles, him and Tucker, but then he actually gives it to Mandy Rose, and Mandy Rose asks for it, and he actually gives the briefcase to Mandy Rose and lets her have it, and then it
Ah.
becomes like between having to choose between your boy or choose between your girl, kind of thing.
Ah. I hate that dilemma. That feels like an old WWE storyline. I can't
It
remember
does, does
where.
well, yeah, but it does feel like something they would do. It's Rusev Day. It's Lana and Aiden
Oh
English,
man, oh
but you could see that happening. You could see them
yeah.
doing that. You can't,
I can see Otis
right?
taking weeks. Like, who should I choose? Is it the me or the woman? Ugh, Then I can actually
Right.
Devil Advocate. I can actually think of like what was it? Dolph, Mandy, and Sonya all getting together. It's like this is all part of the plan to get into Otis's mind. So they can turn around and say, "Oh, you're fat, Otis, or you this and that," and then Otis go back to Tucker, and they reform Heavy Machinery, and pretty much don't win the title. For some reason, they should already had the title.
Right.
which is
Right?
kind of weird. They've been on that roster for so long, never had the title.
Yeah. I mean, my basic example of tag team that never won nothing was Enzo and Cass. Like, I couldn't believe they went through their entire WWE career and they
Oh
didn't
my
win. They didn't win on the main roster. It's just the weirdest thing. They never got it.
god.
It's like the Bushwhackers. They just never won them.
Man, oh man! But when the Bushwhackers was in the WWE, there was the sheep herders, and they were just destroying everybody.
Right.
Oh man, I hate Vince. I hate. Where do you see the revival going, or I can't call them revolt because there's somebody already called the revolt that also in the same state as
Right.
them. So it's like, okay, I'm calling the revival for right now.
I've said now they've given an interview where they said they want, it's like they just got out of a long-term relationship. They ain't looking to settle down. They want to play the field a little bit. So I do think like now I do think they have to have that match with the Young Bucks. I do have to see that. Money wise, AEW is the place to go. However, it's been said that AEW ain't hiring right now. It's like they feel
Yep.
bad for all these people who just lost their job, but they're hurting too, and they're not just trying to hire all their WWE people. So uh, they might not be able to go there.
Yep.
But putting the finances aside, I actually think they would be perfect in NWA. They have that old school sensibility to them. I
Exactly.
think that would be the perfect place for them. Putting aside money, but putting money in the equation, there's really nowhere else for them to justifiably want to go other than AEW if they get hired there. But if that's not the case, NWA for sure.
Yeah, my thing is NWA. If they're not hiring after that, Impact, then AEW. Because right now, Impact, they're bringing back Crazy Steve. They re-signed Sue Young. They're bringing on Jay Crisp's wife. They signed Kimberly, and they're bringing in more people, more knockouts from what I heard. So it's like, if they can work with Impact, they at least have like an easier schedule compared to WWE, where they can work like at least a few tapings, then they can just sit at home or work somewhere else. Because right now, from what I heard, Impact is like doing 3 shows and they have like 12 weeks of material ready. So they're set.
But that would be the downside, though, of NWA, though, because NWA isn't really running where,
Yeah.
but when they are running, if you want to talk about easy schedule, though, hey, NWA's got a pretty easy schedule, too. Don't forget
Exactly.
about that.
Yeah, they do. And they just working on the smallest sets, so it's a lot easier. But at the same time, they only doing like working. They only showing the stuff on YouTube, which is not bringing that much revenue. So they need to at least branch out, do like MLW, and at least contact bigger providers or something. Because
Yeah.
you can't live off of just doing YouTube. Because I know a few promotions that used to do YouTube. Now they're out of business because it's just not that feasible. You need that TV deal or something.
Right.
And,
Absolutely. Yeah, believe me, I know it.
and I think Ring of Honor that is the last choice before they get to AEW, because they can work for Ring of Honor, they can work for New Japan and whoever else they're working with, like CMLL or whatever, and they can just work those 3 companies and they're set. But at the same time,
Right.
you don't want to overwork yourself and burn yourself out like they did in WWE and stuff.
True. But again, same problem with New Japan. Wow, I would actually love to see them in New Japan as well. Again, they and New Japan ain't running, so
Yeah,
just
I
like
think they
NWA.
are
It's like,
running.
yeah,
I think they are running, but it's like doing like
they're gonna
empty
they,
shows.
they're gonna but yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
But all
it's
right, man.
all right,
Oh
but
yeah.
yeah.
I gotta get going. But good talking to you, man.
Oh man, all right. I'll see you next time, man. It's always a joy talking to you, man, and all the knowledge you share. I'm about to go
Hey,
back and
thank you.
watch that NWO video again because I just love the comedy in that video. And it's like
Thank you, thank you.
that thing is more crazy than the Jerry the King Lawler video that you did. And it's like, fuck, man. David's blowing people's
I
minds.
appreciate it.
But I'll put your stuff in the description. It's always a joy to talk to you, man. And if you ever need me, I'm always around doing something. But have a good night, man, and just take care.
Back at you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for having me.
No problem, man. Have a good evening.
Peace.
Peace out. That was my fun time with Dave Knows Wrestling. He also does Dave Knows Comics. He's a great guy to listen to, very knowledgeable at everything. His links are in the description. His both channels to his YouTube and his Twitter account. Both are active. So enjoy his content. That was my favorite video with him. That was a makeup from the last one we did. So if you love wrestling, Dave Knows Wrestling, and he also knows comics. This is BlastBoxx TV. Stay out of the blast radius. You might just get burned.